It's good, but it's holla. I was just about to talk about technology, but
Listen.
it piped me on. So, all right, I want to properly set the stage. We have a new book, everyone. Canvas of My Soul. And we have a new author in the building. Miss Shanell Goring. How do you feel right now?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I kind of feel like this weird, nerve-sighted type of vibe. Like, I'm nervous about the reactions of the book. I'm nervous about, how people are going to feel while reading it. But I'm excited because I know it's fire.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like those nerves are natural. But the success was actually putting it on the page, publishing it, and actually having your event, your launch event on May 1st. So Shanell is my girl. We've been knowing each other for what, 6, 7 months now?
Yeah.
And it's been a vibe since the day we met, okay? And when we met, I had locks, but I no longer have locks. So we not lock sisters like that, but we still locked in. We still locked in. But I'm so excited about her new book, Canvas of My Soul, A Journey Through the Layers. And just the picture, the feel of the book, the colors, when you think about when you're born, you're a blank canvas. And life is what you write on your canvas, what you paint on your canvas. And I think just before we started, color is a thing. And it's not only to just look at color, but be color, be colorful, be imaginative, be exploratory, be revolutionary. And I think you are that. And I'm so excited to know you. I'm so excited for this journey as author, as speaker, and just knowing that this is your book, baby.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this is just one. You about to have mad seeds running around, okay? Mad seeds. And the fact that there's poetry intertwined in here, it's a journey through her lens. But she also has a companion journal, which I feel like is essential. And it's thicker than her actual book. So that means you're going to be writing the canvas of your soul as well. So thank you so much for your vision, for your heart, for all the things. And I think it's always good when people can introduce themselves too. Without the labels, without the titles, who are you at your core?
At my core, Shanell Goring is a loving, compassionate, caring visionary who has a strong connection with God and is actively walking through her journey, just healing others as she's healing herself.
Period. And I know that in the work of healing yourself, it's always good to have fun. Because sometimes the healing work, you just serious all the time. Yeah. And I just be trying to tell people, let's put it down for a second. Let's get messy. And my sister had to remind me of that. Sometimes you need to give yourself permission to be messy.
Yeah.
Because the healing journey comes with its own ebbs and flows. And I think you've been doing that. Just the imagery of your book, it really stands out to me. And I'm so excited for how you introduced yourself. I feel like I heard loving, compassionate, and I think the world is missing loving compassion. And I think this is a great opportunity for people to see themselves and actually spend time with themselves with the journal.
Yes.
So when you named your memoir, Canvas of My Soul, what did that title mean to you personally? And how does it reflect the journey you've lived?
So Canvas of My Soul derived from two things, right? The name of my business is called Canvas Culture, right? And I closely associate the word canvas with living life experiences, your entire being, right? So I wanted to write something to express what the soul is, right? Express how my soul was made, but then also offer kind of like an escort to people to guide them through revealing the layers of their own life and their own soul. So
yeah, and that's great because sometimes you'll get the instruction But if somebody doesn't walk you through gently, hold your hand through it, it feels hard. It feels daunting. And then you're just like, I'm not really going to do this.
Exactly. So that's why I wrote a guided journal and not just a journal. Because I feel like, a lot of times when people journal, we tend to journal and it's all over the place. You're talking about walking, you're talking about shoes, you're talking about, various experiences. But I wanted people to really reveal themselves to themselves. So I created poetry, and then in the poetry, in the writing prompts, it's kind of like unmasking what this should invoke in you, and giving you specific questions to use to identify who you are, what your purpose is, your walk, and where you've come from. So
I love that. Ooh. As you were speaking, I was daydreaming for someone in the morning time, and they're using their journal to start their day, and just being able to release that in a guided way. Because like you said, sometimes my journals are packed, but they're literally a little chaotic because it's from one thought to another. So having the guide allows us to be a little bit more focused and intentional with how we are pouring into ourselves and reflecting back into ourselves. Your book blends reflection, poetry, and storytelling, like we just said. Why was it important for you to tell your story in this layered, non-traditional way?
Wow. It was important to me because honestly, I feel like typical memoirs are more so tell-all books, right? They're more so going into the mess and the craziness of their life, which this book definitely is. It definitely is that, right? But I wanted to be very intentional on the specific things that I've gone through, because there's clearly a demographic of young women who have gone through life without a mother, or growing up without parents, or who have had domestic violence issues. I mean, have gone through various life experiences. So I wanted to be very, very, very specific on how I told my story. So, yeah.
And I remember we were talking about who you actually wanted to serve when it comes to speaking. And you were very intentional about speaking in group homes and shelters. And can you touch a little bit on why that's important for you?
Yeah. So, growing up, I grew up in Monroe Projects, right? And,
where's Monroe Projects?
Monroe in the Bronx.
Okay.
So the X is up.
Okay. I'm from Brooklyn, so
Bronx girl.
I'm not familiar with that one, but yes.
Yeah. So I grew up in the Bronx, with my grandfather, and listen, it was real. I was very hard-headed as a kid. I would run away all the time, which led me to situations where I had to really just figure things out. And I realized as I got older, my life was placed in a box, and the box was given to me at birth. You know what I'm saying? That box was given, and it was my responsibility to say, nah, F that. F this box that you have put in my life, and making conscious steps to move forward, and moving forward. I went from living in Monroe Projects to serving in New York City Council, right? So just understanding where your life is and where you want your life to go. And when you are specifically in those situations where you are, possibly either in a shelter or in a group home, or you're somewhere where you are meant to grow somewhere out of, right? They still place you in those boxes. It's almost impossible growing up in foster care and them giving you a housing voucher and telling you to go out and figure out life, figure it out. And I think if we had more resources and more people to say, nah, listen, hold on. Let me help you, sister. And not to tell you what to do, but let me just guide you and hold your hand through wherever you want to go in life, and showing you different possibilities. Wherever you want to go for yourself is possible. So it was extremely important for me to make sure that I'm reaching out to those communities, speaking to those communities, and showing girls listen, I grew up X, Y, and Z. My mother was an alcoholic. My mother, just listen. It's possible. Life is possible. This doesn't have to be a reality.
Yeah. So. And just encouraging them to use all of it.
Yeah.
Your experiences are not wasted. It's just how you repackage it and grow from it, grow through it. And like you said, from A to B, there's a lot of life that happened, but the thriving story, the author, the lived experience, the mentor, the guided practitioner, like you just finished doing a boot camp, right? And so many people's lives have changed because of your leadership and the reason of you saying yes, or the results of you saying yes. And I think that's commendable, because a lot of people hide from the mission that God has given them, and you rightfully step into it with pride, with power, with all of the things, with all of you, Shanell.
So thank you.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like a pride thing too. I think for many years I was ashamed of who I was. Thank God I was born in the 80s and raised in the 90s before cell phones and videos, because baby.
Hello.
Baby, okay? And I still had shame for the craziness. But, it's shame. And I feel like, listen, tell your story. If you got a story, tell your story. You don't know who you're going to heal. You don't know who you're going to touch. Like, you have no idea, So it's really important for me to just like push the narrative of like just sharing your life.
Yeah. And it definitely walks other people through. Like, there's nothing that you've been through that can't support someone else. And I always tell people, share your testimony, because you ain't go through that for no reason. Okay. Okay. All right. You speak openly about growing up without your mother. How did that absence shape the woman you became, and how did it show up in your relationships?
Oh, wow. That's a layered question. So, rest in peace, Maria, my beautiful, beautiful mother. My mother had me when she was 17. So, she didn't know how to be a mother, right? And at the same point, she didn't know how to be a mother. I didn't know how to be a daughter, right? We don't know. We live life and we just figure it out. But not having a mother, to me, it really led to a lot of questions on like identity. Who am I, right? I think like looking at other people with their parents, they can say, well, my mom is this and my dad is this. And, my mother taught me to do this and my father taught me to do this. And I was able to do X, Y, and Z. And like, I didn't have any of that, right? To this day, I'm 42 years old. I have no idea who my biological father is, right? So, and my mother couldn't give me any questions. Even when she came back into my life when I was 13, it was still like she was either drunk or drunker, right? So getting questions out of her was just really it was tough. And I learned how to be her best friend, but not have that mother-daughter relationship. So as I got older, I spent so many years feeling sorry for myself, looking at people on Mother's Day. Oh my gosh. Even to this day, Mother's Day, I'd be like, oh, here we go, right? And I shed a tear, but nonetheless, it took a while for me to realize that I was the person who was in charge of shaping my identity and not the absent people, right? The absence wasn't what built me. It's my presence for myself, right? Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
The presence you've built for yourself, not the absence of other people. And that is, we got to pause right there.
Yeah.
For so many people, they have highlighted and pedestalized the absence of others, while gently or not gently neglecting their presence and their identity and who they are. And there's something I wrote in my book, which is poetry infused too. And it speaks about that parental relationship and the absence of it, and realizing and coming into agreement with the fact that your parents also have their own assignment. And maybe their assignment was just to get you to this portal to this earth realm that we're in. And that was all that they needed to do. Yeah. That was their particular job. Obviously, we would want the support that's needed to nurture, and we do value that. But sometimes the capacity, when you look at your mom's trajectory, her life, and like your dad, we don't know. He know who he is, right? He had an assignment.
Hopefully he
said, reach out to your girl. She an author now,
Don't ask me for no money though.
Hello? Okay. Yeah. Don't ask
okay.
for no money. I got a story about that. I'll tell you about that later. But yeah, like recognizing and coming into agreement with the fact that people are people.
Yeah.
And I think Jada Pinkett said it on the Red Table Talk podcast about she realizing that her mother and father didn't come to this earth just to be her mother and father. And I think when we look at it from that lens, we're able to kind of separate and come out of main character energy and realize like other people have their assignments as well. And they become parents along the way. Yep. Circumstantially, they may have planned or not planned and whatever that is. But the fact that we are here, we are responsible for our presence. We are responsible for our contribution on this earth. And this is a contribution. When Shanell Goring is no longer in the physical, guess what? Legacy. Like it's so potent. Like think about all of the libraries that we've been in and the bookstores that we've been in, and the people probably are no longer on the land of the living, but their words, the Bible that we read, the words, and they become manifest in other people's lives. So, girl, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see. What's our next question? There's a deep sense of vulnerability throughout your memoir. Really, it really is. I read it. Was there a moment where you questioned whether you were sharing too much?
Throughout the whole entire book, I was just like, oh, am I gonna? Yeah, let's just put this out there. I think that I grew up in the era where everything was secretive. You know, like even like I didn't even know like my mother was adopted until I was probably 11 or 12. And my grandfather raised me my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So secrets, right? And I'm like, hold on, I can't keep living my life like that. You know what I'm saying? And allowing people to share a narrative that's not true. So I'm going to share my truth. And, you know, it is what it is. I actually just had this conversation with my therapist. Shout out to you, girl. Yeah. And she was like, well, what if people read the book and they're offended? Like they're offended that you pulled their card like you. And I was just... Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And you were probably dead wrong. Sorry, not sorry. And I'm sorry that I didn't say anything sooner, right? And you know, the only person I could honestly say is my little brother who I would be worried about. But nonetheless, you know, I can't keep this in, right? It's not going to happen. I can't live that way no more.
Yeah.
I refuse. So... yeah.
Freedom. Liberated yourself.
Freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. Sharing too much at what cost?
Yeah.
Is it really sharing too much, or is it sharing your particular journey? And yeah, you have characters that play a good or a bad role in your story, but sharing too much, what does that even mean? You know? So I'm glad that you pushed past that and didn't allow it to hold you back from, you know, sharing, because some people do choose to opt into, I can't release my book until somebody passes away. Yeah. Like, and with respect to their experience and not wanting to bring shame or anything like that. But that's also your liberation being tied up into somebody's life. Yeah. You know?
But listen, both things are true. My truth is mine. I can't say someone is wrong or right for not withholding their truth. Baby, do what you do and do what's best for your family. If you feel like you would, you know, bring your family shame. Unfortunately for me, I really don't have any biological family. Everyone, you know what I'm saying? And listen, I don't owe it to anyone, anything other than for me to live my life through God. And that's it, unapologetically. And that's it. So
that's it and that's all. That's what Shanell said. Okay?
That's it and that's all.
That's it and that's all. Every time she says grandfather, I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know what that feels like. And I don't hear it often. So every time you say it, I'm like, wow, your grandpa. Like, you know? Yeah. Tell me about the role that your grandfather played in your life, and how did his presence influence your sense of love, safety, and identity?
Yeah, let me tell you about Mr. G. My grandfather was from Barbados, came to the States, born in 1930, right? So it was a huge cultural difference, right? An age gap. So he was from a whole nother world, and he was raising this little baby, right? And my grandfather had me since I was like small, right? And I'm telling you, people wouldn't understand him. He'd be like, Shanell, you know, and I would constantly have to serve as a translator for him, but listen, I ain't even gonna lie. He wasn't the nicest person, right? And my grandfather, plenty of times having an attitude. He used to pull out guns on people. Like my grandfather was.
Oh, he
was definitely not a punk, right? But when it came to me, like, I was his baby. Anything I wanted. I mean, listen, I was the first person in Monroe Projects with a cell phone, I think. He bought me a VCR cell phone, and I was walking around, do y'all got one of these? Do y'all got one of these? I mean, and he loved me hard. The one thing I can honestly say is that he did the best that he could with what he had, right? Yeah. Like, he would watch Oprah, and he would try to, like, learn new ways to, like, parent me. But his parenting was very lenient with me. In comparison to how he raised his adopted children, right? So, I plenty of nights of just doing whatever I wanted, running away. And Shanell, you have to come home. All right, I see you on Monday. Type of situation. And he tried his best. I could want to say he tried his absolute best. But one thing I can honestly say, my strong-mindedness I got from my grandfather. I'm a gifter. He was a gifter, so I'm the same way. I'm a gifter. And then also, in regards to just caring for children that are not biologically mine, like, that's what made me become a foster parent. Like, I was just like, no, there's so many kids out here that need love. And my grandfather loved me wholeheartedly. Like, he would go to jail for me, right? And that's how he loved my mother as well. So when I go hard for you and you're my friend and you're my family, I'm going to go 10 toes down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Where's the body's going? I'm going to pray for you first, but where's it going? But but yeah, my grandfather was an amazing parental figure. And, I wouldn't be here without him at all.
Shout out to Mr. G.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. G. I love that for you.
Yeah.
I love that for you. And I see how, like, it's important to kind of spotlight the fact that because of your experience, you now became a foster parent to kind of shield other young people from going through that and experiencing that. And I think that speaks volumes to your character, your integrity, and your heart, because some people will just be hurt for, like, the rest of their life because of these experiences, and they won't even have the capacity to give of themselves in that way. And because you've taken the authority back and desired to heal and continue healing, you're now able to implement and be of service to others, especially the younger generation that needs that guidance. Like, I used to be a high school guidance counselor, so I've seen the range of, like, issues and challenges that they might face that a lot of adults aren't willing to hear. And I also realized that post high school, a lot of people don't have guidance counselors. Like, people need guidance, period. And what you're doing, even through this book, serves as like a guidance counselor in some way, right? Because you're guiding people to see themselves, to take time to have space and tenderness with themselves that is often so rushed past, to the point where you look at life and you're like, where did my life go? It's because we're not pausing. So at this time, I would love to pause to have you read one of your poems from this amazing book. You're going to read it from the journal?
Yeah, I'm going to read from the journal.
Perfect.
So I was just talking about this poem. This poem is called Talk to Me Nice.
Yeah, she sent it before we started. Talk to Me Nice.
And I think that this is a very powerful piece. Very short and sweet, but very, very powerful. So once again, the name of this piece is Talk to Me Nice. Who do I square up with when the damage is internal? when the hands throwing punches are made of my own thoughts? How do I fight the one who knows all of my soft spots, the one who learned my name and used it like a weapon? It's me. I know it's me. The voice that says you should be further by now. Why don't you always mess this up? Be quiet. Don't ask. Don't need. I hear you, but I'm not letting you talk reckless. So listen, talk to me nice. Don't rush me like I'm late on my own life. Don't insult me for surviving the way that I knew how. Don't call me weak for resting or dramatic for feeling or broken because I'm still healing. Talk to me nice. I wouldn't say these things to the child I was. I wouldn't say them to the friend I love. So why do you get to say them to me? Who taught you this tone? Who handed you shame? Who told you it was discipline? Who convinced you that cruelty was the same thing as motivation? Because it wasn't born in me. I learned it, and it wasn't learned. And what is learned can be unlearned. So here's the real rule. You don't get to live in my head and be abusive. Correction is allowed. Honesty is allowed. Growth is allowed, but humiliation, no. I'm not your enemy. I'm not the problem to be solved. I am the person who stayed when everything else left. So if you're going to speak to me with respect. Speak with patience. Speak like I matter. Talk to me nice. I'm listening now.
I have to close my eyes for that one. Talk to me nice.
Talk to me
I'm
nice.
listening now. Your body was always listening. And so many people really, really are their worst enemy.
Yeah.
When you should really be your biggest cheerleader. Because once you don't talk to you nice, it don't matter what anybody else say. You set the tone to your subconscious.
And you're going to set the tone. When you set the tone internally, you're also setting the tone externally. Because if you don't talk to you nice, you're just accepting anything.
Ooh, that was so good.
Yeah,
ooh, that was so good. Talk to me nice. I'm listening.
Nice.
I talk to myself nice. I talk to my car nice. I talk to everything around me, surrounding me nice. Okay?
Right.
Because that energy, it's a vibration, it's a frequency. And how you talk to yourself matters.
Yes.
That's so potent.
Thank you.
Listen, the audiobook coming soon too. All right? Because that was deep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got some bangers in here. I'm telling you.
Listen, I know. Y'all get the book. May 1st is the actual book launch event. Yeah. We're about to go to the spot. Check it out. This is gonna be amazing. Let's dive back in. That was a real good interlude. I love that. Talk to me nice.
Thank you.
That's good. I think you should make that a shirt.
Right?
Yeah. Make that a shirt.
I think somebody already has that though.
You could add, I'm listening.
I'm listening now.
Hello? And that's M- Shanell Goring.
Exactly.
Canvas of my soul. Link on the back to buy the book. That's yours. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and make a little.
Write that down. Okay. Many readers will see themselves in your story. What do you hope someone who feels unseen takes away from your words?
Honestly, and this is going to sound so cookie cutter, stop playing games with yourself. Like, stop playing games with yourself. And, at the end of the day, I think that we all have our moments, right, where we feel like we kind of like slide into the background and we go through our things eternally. Give yourself grace, right? But at the end of the day, like, you were not created to be pushed to the side. You were not created for that. That's it. And it's no better time than now. And give yourself grace, because we all mess up, right? But choose today to pick yourself up. Let today be the day, Oh, yeah.
And that's why the the name of this podcast is Created to Inspire. We were all created to inspire. Like, if you really dig deep and take away these words that Shanell has poured into you, know that you were created for a reason. And you have the ability to show up as a perfect, whole human that has a gift to release to the world. You get to choose that. So use your free will wisely. Use it wisely. There's a theme of self-reclamation throughout your journey. When did you realize you were no longer just surviving, but truly becoming?
Ooh, honestly, I was working, and this is when my whole life changed. I was working for the fire department. And I working 18-hour shifts, dispatcher around a bunch of people that were peopling. And the energy there was so nasty. It was just such a volatile environment. And I woke up one morning and I just felt this heaviness, like this crazy heaviness. And I go into work and I sit in my car and I cry. And I sat in my car and cried until I was late for work. And I came into work and everyone was just so negative and so nasty and they had an attitude. And I looked at the walls and I looked at the people around me and I said, I quit. I walked out of there, went to the captain and said, I'm going sick, active duty. And I never stepped foot back in that building. That was the moment where I realized my power. I realized I was living a life for me at that moment. And quitting that job was the best thing that ever happened to me. I went back to college, graduated cum laude, was a senator for Lehman College. And from there, I was hired by a council member, became community manager over their district. And then from there, everything just started to unfold.
Stop it. What you do now? What you do now? What you do now?
I work for a government agency and I process and approve government contracts.
Period.
Yeah. So, and I'm proud CEO of Canvas Culture LLC, therapeutic art company. I life coach, facilitate workshops. And I went from a dispatcher to that because I chose. It's a bit crazy. I'm not telling people to just up and quit your job the way that I did, but do it if you want to. You'll be fine.
You have to.
Do it if you have to.
Do it because you get to.
Yeah.
You got free will.
Yeah.
As long as you ain't dead, you get to.
Yeah. Don't stay nowhere you're not happy. Anyway, and that's for relationships. Don't stay nowhere if you're not happy.
Yeah.
Or create happiness. Sometimes, you
get to do that.
We're handed cards where, we just, I have a close friend who has lupus, right? And anyone else in this world will probably be like, right? When I tell you she is the most driven and she's a CEO of a company and when I tell you, she gives me inspiration so much. And I'm like, yo, if she could get up every day with her pain and with everything that she's got going on, like, why can't all of us live our dreams? Like, telling you, it's a choice. You choose.
It goes back to the poem, Talk to Me Nice. Because if you're not telling yourself that you can do limitless things and you can do everything that you put your mind to, literally, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And so it's essential to take notes from people who have maybe more extreme circumstances and they're still getting up and doing it anyway. Let that be a motivational factor, not something that you're like, oh my God, now you're feeling bad for yourself all over again. No, like, use it as motivation. Like, if they can, let me do my due diligence in this life. That's so powerful. So we got like 2 more questions and we got like 10 more minutes. So I want to make sure that I get everything for you, girl. How did your evolution into a life coach, like you just mentioned, and creative influence the way you interpreted your past while writing this memoir?
I think that training to be a life coach and like going through the journey of actually like learning how to listen, I think that it taught me how to listen to myself a lot more. I think that, growing up, I was forced to take emotion and throw emotion away and like tap into my rational mind, which is nothing wrong. You need your rational mind to be able to process information as you move through life.
Yeah.
But for me, I needed to learn the balance of tapping into my emotional well-being as well as my, my rational well-being. And it just created a synergy, right? It created a synergy, and it made me listen to myself and listen to my life and look at it through a different lens. And even to this day, like I'm constantly learning new things about myself. And that's one of my philosophies, like always have a learning mind. Always like one of my favorite Stoic beliefs, always have a learning mind. Never get to a point where you feel like you know everything, because you don't. And you never will know everything. But be inquisitive, ask questions. And sometimes you even have to ask yourself questions, because you change. As you get older, your body changes, your mind changes, your point of view changes. So, being a life coach, it helps me see myself so that I can see other people clearly. Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. And that field is, I feel like, a anointing. You don't just become a life coach. You live through some things and you become a life coach, and you're able to guide others. If you were to speak directly to your younger self, the girl at the beginning of this canvas, what would you say to her now?
You're not alone. You're not alone. You never will be alone. You don't think you have a daddy, but you got a father. And just keep going, right? I think that as a little girl, I was a crybaby. I was a crybaby because I couldn't soothe myself, because I couldn't figure out what was going on. But I would say cry. If you gotta cry, cry longer. Who cares what people think, right? And get your thumb out your mouth, Shanell, because you're sucking your thumb, right? So that's what I would tell Shanell, just get your thumb out your mouth and stop, cry, but get the thumb out your mouth. Yeah.
Lil Shanell, I hope you heard that.
Yeah, little Nelly.
Little
My
Nelly.
Little belly.
Yeah.
My little baby. Yeah.
I love that. And lastly, you experienced profound loss and transformation. How did writing this book help you process grief, especially the kind that doesn't always have closure? And use that also as a gift to people, as your parting words.
Wow. I think, talking about Maria, my mom, the things that I've gone through because of her, I think I've always blamed her. I always blame Maria for everything, right? And going through this writing journey, it helped me go a little bit deeper and just start looking for things and looking for information. And I ended up, this journey has been so amazing. I ended up finding my mother's adoption papers. And it literally said her mother's name, and then no known family, mother dropped her off and never came back. And it helped me forgive Maria. It helped me forgive Maria because she had to leave her baby girl because she was still trying to figure out life herself, right? And it helped me look at grief and forgiveness. I was able to forgive my mom after she passed away and really see the humanity in her. And I was able to, I found pictures of me and her as a child, and it just okay, she did come around. Wasn't as often, as you wanted, but she did come around, and just to look at her smile as she held me, it just made me just love her even more. So I was able to really just come to terms with who she is, forgive her and love her and just honor her. And, I hope that she's looking at me, in heaven, just, saying, well done, daughter, So, yeah.
And it sounds like you found the gratitude in your mom's experience, your experience, and grief and forgiveness is something that a lot of people struggle with big time. And so it sounds like you released that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a freedom that really comes with that, through grief, shedding, and forgiveness, and just staying in the gratitude portion of who people are and holding space for who they are, who they were, and also carry on the legacy of the healed version of them. So
yeah. And what makes it even more beautiful is that my mother was a poet. She was a singer. She was a poet. And she actually performed at the Apollo a few times. And it just, this is the best way that I could have ever honored her life. The best way I could have honored her. And everything just came full circle for me. Full circle. Yeah.
Wow. My mama was a poet too.
Wow.
Poet, but yes, that's sweet. Sweet. I told you we locked in. We locked in. I ain't got the line no more, but we locked in. Oh my gosh. That is very full circle. That is so full circle.
Yeah. I ended up finding a play that she wrote, which I plan on. Yeah. Something's going to happen with that.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shanell. Please tell everyone where they can find you, how they can support you, and pop your stuff about your show coming up.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, the tickets are sold out, but the launch, the book launch is May 1st. But you can find me on social media, Shay _Marie MARIE_G, or you can find me at Canvas Culture LLC.com to get a little bit more information about the life coaching and how you can become a part of the movement. You can also find me on IG, Canvas Culture LLC, and if you Google Canvas Culture LLC, all my information will come up.
Yes, and book her to lead workshops with your offices, your restaurants, your lounges, all the things. Canvas Culture is amazing.
Yeah, and if you Google me, you'll see that there's a review from Google on Google from working with Google. I think it's the coolest thing.
That sounds so fire. Yes.
Google review
on Google.
Yeah,
Hello.
Google,
that's boss. That's boss. So you know Canvas Culture. Go to canvasculturellc.com. So thank you, Shanell.
Thank you.
Thank you for Canvas Culture, everybody. Give it up, give it up, give it up.